Welcome to Federation Commander Tutorial 6, Firing Arcs. Before we can start shooting our weapons at enemies, we need to know where we can fire at. Every weapon on the ship card is followed by a letter combination that describes the firing arc of that weapon. Notice the photon here has an FA, Phaser 1 has RFR, this Phaser 1 has LFL, this Phaser 1 has RH, these Phaser 3s have 360. Those describe where those weapons can fire. So a firing arc is defined as the hexes that a target must be in to fire that weapon at it. So thematically, there are maybe three factors that constrain the firing arc of a weapon. Where the weapon is mounted on the ship. So if a weapon's on the right side of the ship, obviously it can't fire through the ship. So that's going to constrain the directions that that weapon can fire at. A weapon may be blocked by certain parts of the ship. For example, a weapon on this ship on the right side of the saucer can't fire backwards through the engine on the ship. So that constrains where it can fire. And also the kind of mount the weapon has. It may not be able to swivel the full, the full view area on where that weapon's mounted. Maybe it's a heavy weapon and it can only swivel a little bit or not at all. It can only fire in kind of in a straight line. So each basic firing arc is shown here. There are 6 of them. The first letter is left or right, and the second letter is forward, rear, or no letter to indicate just straight right or straight left. And notice how these do not line up with the shield facings, even though there are 6 of them. So for example, shield 1 from a given ship's location is forward, is represented by that hex edge, right? But the firing arcs are kind of rotated from that. So this firing arc, RF, right front, spans shield 1 and shield 2. Likewise, firing arc R spans shield 2 and shield 3. So to look at this on the map itself, let's put a ship down. Say we have a ship here. And a basic firing arc is, like I said, 60 degrees. And so this ship at this location, the firing arc RF, right front, would basically be all the hexes underneath this expanding triangle of space. Firing arc R would be to the right, all the hexes underneath there. And that continues all the way around the ship for all 6 firing arcs. There are also firing arcs that use 2 or more of the combined basic firing arcs. So notice how the photon here has an FA firing arc. FA means forward arc, which means on the chart the forward arc is composed of the left front and the right front arcs together. So on the map, this would be represented by an arc that looks like this. So all the hexes underneath the white, that's basically 120 degrees, 2 firing arcs combined into 1. So this Federation cruiser's photon torpedoes can fire at any ship within that area. There are also firing arcs that are, for example, right front and right, which would look like that. There are also firing arcs that are right and right rear. It would look like this. There are also rear arc, which looks like this, etc., all the way around the ship again. There are also combinations of firing arcs of 3 of those two of the basic firing arcs. So, for example, right side would be everything to the right of the ship, or left side. And there are also 2 special kinds of firing arcs that aren't combinations of the basic 6. Those are the front half, which look like this. Notice that the front half arc only half covers some hexes, and hexes that are half covered are considered in the firing arc. So if you have a weapon that can fire front half, it could fire at an enemy in this hex, this hex, this hex, this hex. Likewise, we have the rear half. And again, the half hexes count. There's also a special firing arc for plasma, which is a weapon we'll get to perhaps later. There's a left plasma, which lines up with the hex spine. Notice the normal firing arcs align with the hex grain like this, like along the hexes. The plasma arc aligns with the hex spine like that. So if a ship is here, the left plasma arc is kind of like the left half rotated 30 degrees instead of 60. Likewise, the right plasma is aligned with the hex grain like that, hex spine like that. And again, both of these are 180 degrees, they're just kind of offset a little bit. The nice thing about these arcs, these 2 left and right plasma arcs, is that if there's an enemy anywhere in the 60 degrees to the front of you, both your left and right side weapons can see that enemy. Whereas if you have left half arc like this, and right half arc and left half arc, the enemy has to be exactly in front of you for both those weapons to see them. So the plasma arcs are a little more interesting. So that's it for our firing arcs. Next time we'll start talking about actual weapons. Thanks for watching.